Hello, you golfing legends, and welcome back to another episode of Get to Know Your Granddaddy Team 2023. I'm your host, Much More 18, and joining me today are the last three members of Team Legacy. I'll let them introduce themselves, but let's start with the guy I stole this intro from. Grandaddy, you're pretty well known on the forum, so whatever you want to share works for me.
Oh, well, I don't know what to say now. You stole my intro. I'm so confused. Uh, God. I also didn't watch any of the other shows, even though apparently I'm the only one who didn't to keep this fresh. So, hello everyone from THP. What's going on? I'm Dan, better known as Canada Dan. JB's better half in most ways.
Is that your intro? Are you good?
Sure. What do you want from me?
Whatever you want to say, man.
Okay, my hometown is London, Ontario,
No, don't say
Canada.
that. I'm going to ask that question later.
This might be a heckle show. We'll see what he says later.
That's
Uh yeah, I've golfed for 30 years. I've been to the Grandaddy once before. I plan to win again with Maddie at the helm. We've got a pretty fun team this year full of goofballs that seem to have pretty thick skin, which is a good thing when going against Callaway. And I'm just pumped to get back out there. Callaway Carlsbad in December is definitely the place you want to be.
awesome. JB, you own the place, so introduce yourself however you want also.
I'm Grandaddy. I'm Josh, JB. I do own half of the place, the non-fun half. There's not a lot to say that people don't know already, at least as far as I'm concerned. But I'm really excited to be playing in this again. When I was asked to do so, it wasn't much of a question. It was, yes, I'm there. I'm ready to go. And I'm excited to go back to Callaway. I was there a few weeks ago. I'm excited for you guys to get to see the equipment that is just exceptional and to get back to the hideaway. And this place is a very special place to me personally.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, Maynard. Yours will be pretty similar to the rest of the team. Just introduce yourself and let us know how you found THP.
Okay, sounds good. Well, welcome, everyone. THP, Matt Maynard, M Maynard 11. Got to put those numbers in there for Dan and the rest of the crew out there that hate the numbers. I've been around THP since 2013. I think it was September 11th, 2013. And I found THP. I was looking for an iron review, and gosh, you're probably gonna laugh. I'm not gonna announce the irons, but I found it, kind of just hung around in the background for a little bit, and then unfortunately at the time I was in Ohio. Well, not unfortunately, but just Ohio was cloudy, gloomy, and within a few weeks of joining THP, I was at a local golf course in Youngstown, Ohio, with about 40 other THPers just playing golf on a Saturday. My wife goes, "Should I put a tracker on you?" I'm like, "No, I should be fine." And I think I played my first round with Dan. We played together in that round out there in Youngstown, and the rest is history. I've been here ever since, and I don't see it's basically, for me, it's the first thing I look at. My wife's probably not listening, but it's the first thing I look at in the morning as I'm on THP, and it's probably the last thing I do before I go to bed. So, it's life to me.
I hear that. So as I mentioned, we have the owner, or well, half the owner of THP, and a long tenured staff member here. JB, I know you've shared this before, but instead of asking you about experiences you've been in, like I've asked the rest of the team, can you kind of share where the idea of experiences came from and how they've changed over the
Yeah,
years?
yeah, they changed completely. And I'll keep that part short, but they came from the idea of people on the internet aren't real nice to each other, and it sucks. And you meet somebody. I'm gonna make him get embarrassed, Dan, but Dan's a pretty nice guy. It's probably the Canadian in him, even though he's from Ohio. And you want people to be nicer to each other online. And if you create these things that are amazing and you dangle a carrot in front of people, like you have the opportunity to do this, just don't be an asshole. You can do that, and it worked. And you can usually tell the ones that are still assholes are the ones that don't participate, and that's fine. The internet's a big place, but the goal is to make it a friendly place for people. The idea of changing them to be what they are now is really came in some ways because of the Grandaddy. The Grandaddy is the ultimate golf trip anybody could ever go on. Anybody. It's regardless of your status in the golf world. And we wanted our events to be closer to perfection. So, that's where we are now.
I gotcha. Mr. Canada Dan, the question I want to ask you is how your THP experience started and how you came to be a staff member here.
Kicking and screaming mostly. I joined the site, I think in 2009 or 2010. I was looking for a place to talk golf because every time I spoke with my wife or my dad, both their eyes would glaze over with limited interest. So I felt like be a better opportunity to find people like-minded perspective online. And I searched different forums, and THP had a different vibe at the time, and still does to this day. I think the community is one of the most unique parts of our process and our identity. So I think that's one of the main things I latched onto. Matt has already mentioned one of his early experiences are getting together with people he didn't know and having a good time, and he didn't run away screaming or in a box or in the trunk somewhere. So I think it's a nice representation of what THP can be at its finest, and it just kind of continued from there. I started writing, I don't know how many years ago it is, Josh. You probably don't remember that either, but the writing part was very fun for quite some time. And then we started to spitball different ideas. And as we continue to see THP evolve, I like to be in slightly moving roles. I think it's more fun to try new things and experiments, the YouTube phase, and hopefully that comes back here soon. And the podcast has been super fun. So for me, it's just been growth and change and continuing to see the community evolve. I mean, we talked about experiences now and how different they are, and I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about is how different the Grandaddy is going to be. But yeah, I mean, I just love this community, and I love the idea that I can go to any city in the US and put a post up online, and there's a good chance I can find a foursome from it.
So I'm actually going to ask you a question about the Grandaddy since you've been there before, but we're going to get to Matt really quick. Matt, your question is going to be kind of different than what I've asked the rest of the team. You were actually chosen to be the captain by the THP community. What did being nominated, let alone chosen, mean to you at the time, and how did that change THP for you this year?
I'm going to interrupt him real fast. Just tonight, we were talking about this, and Matt said, had we chosen him, meaning Morgan and I, he would have declined. He's lying, but he told me that.
And I probably would have, just because I don't think, for me, obviously I've been around since day one. I've seen all 10 of them, all 9, have followed all 9. I guess I followed through 10 because we're about to go through 10. But anyone that's been or witnessed or knows about the Grandaddy, no one deserves it. So to be chosen, it almost kind of feels like, to be picked, let's say picked, because that would have been picking someone if Josh would have chosen me. I think it's a different realm to be picked by a community of golfers, like-minded individuals that are on this forum on a daily basis. And to be nominated was humbling. To be chosen was mind-blowing, because never would I have thought, that I would have been selected to lead this team in the 10th Grandaddy. So I might even get choked up a little bit about it now, because You know, there's been times where I've thought, like, even being selected, I'm like, you know, can I do it the way I know it needs to be done? Because it's just that important to everyone that's been and everyone that's followed along with the Granddaddy. So it's humbling, it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to what, you know, this team can do, and hopefully we're going to bring it back. You know, obviously there's other things that go into that, but that's kind of how, you know, it's impacted me initially since I was chosen. How it's changed it, I think, you know, THP, like I mentioned, it's not just something that, you know, you do occasionally. It's more of a family to me. You know, I'm good friends with Josh, and I would say that about any THPer out there that I've never met. You know, because I followed. It's like you almost know them, whether it be in person or through the internet. But it's almost like I would do anyone if anyone was to call me on the THP forum and say, "Hey, I need help with this," I would never say no. And Dan's laughing because I know it's coming next, but
Well,
that's
that context
You said
was anybody
you'd do
contacts me,
anyone.
you would do them, and that
do
threw us for a loop.
anything.
I knew
All
this
right,
one was going to
enough.
be fun. I knew this one was going to be fun.
Yeah, it was. I'm, you know, I'm coming with some high rollers here today. I was like, how did I get picked to go last? So,
Okay, Captain, settle down.
so that's it.
All
Did I
right.
get both questions? I think so.
Yeah, you got them both. You mentioned you've been around since the beginning of the Grandaddy, and I had a video out recently with some questions that I asked the alumni to kind of prepare us and hopefully any other team if this comes back. But I'm going to ask you, I would normally ask you guys the same first question I asked them, which is, what did you know about the Grandaddy before being selected? But two of you have gone. One of you have been here since the very beginning, so I'm going to kind of change it up a bit. JB, I want to start with you. And how did the idea of the Grandaddy come about? And what did you think was going to happen when you first heard the idea?
So I've shared a little bit about it, which was the person who was in charge of marketing, he was their chief marketing officer at the time, was Harry Arnett. And Harry, I had worked with him a little bit when he was at a different company. And when he got the job at Callaway, I sent him an email just congratulating him on the job. I thought he was going to do great. And that I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't quote unquote solicit him because I liked where they were headed. And he responded back and said, I have this idea. And we kind of went back and forth for about a day on what we were going to do. And that's how it came to be, you know. And then from there, it was Harry knew that Jason was the brilliance behind this type of planning and basically threw it to Jason Finley and said, here, I know you'll make this great. And that's the truth of the matter. And the funniest part was it was never about the money on our side or anything like that, or a sponsorship. It was about creating something that was so over the top absurd that nobody could say, well, I don't want to go to the Grandaddy, I could do that myself. They can't. Nobody can. It's not possible. And it's only done on this community because of what this community is, not because of what I am or what Morgan is or what Dan is or anything else. It's done because of the way the community is. And the day that changes is the day that the Grandaddy goes away, and we don't ever want to see that. So that's kind of where it came from. I hope that answers the question anyway.
Yeah, it does. But the last thing you said is if that ever changes, it goes away. Did you ever think it would last this long?
Ooh, that's tough because I'd like to say, oh no, you never think it's going to go like this, but you do. I mean, the community is filled with great people, and Callaway has great people, and there's people. And while the names have changed, they haven't changed completely. And if that happens, maybe it does. But you know, I'd like to say yes. I always thought it would go on forever, but I didn't. You know, I don't think anybody ever does. I don't think anybody ever thinks anything like this could. But you're hopeful, and I'm hopeful every year, like you guys are, because I don't know. I usually find out a little ahead of time, but I don't know if we're bringing it back and what that's going to look like and what the changes are. It's something that you, Jason, myself, Nick McAnally and others kind of go through it and figure it out. So I'd like to say, oh yeah, I always thought it was going to. No, but at the same time, I'm super hopeful, and with that optimism comes some reality.
Well, I like the optimism because I have a lot of it this year. So, with regards to it coming back, and regards to a question I'm going to ask Dan, as the only winning captain so far, how does it feel to be coming back? And by that, I kind of mean, does it feel like a title defense with all the crap you've talked to Finley? Or is it going to feel like a completely different experience now that you're not the captain?
Well, first of all, I'm thrilled that I'm not the captain. It's an awful lot of work, and you tend to take a lot of things really personally as a captain. So, getting dumped into it late has been a really weird experience for me. I really truly did not expect to be in this position in any sort of way. So
I'm going to
yeah,
say that when Dan heard that on the podcast, that when we announced he was coming back, that was God's honest truth. He had no idea we were saying it.
yeah,
That was
I'm
the moment he found out.
sitting there watching. See, I'll be honest. I thought when he said Chris has an awful lot of work to do if I'm playing, I thought, oh God, he's going to make me go out there and watch. Does it feel like a title defense? I don't know. Can you say like because we're on a this is Team THP. We're on a losing streak right now. Yes, I've won it, but I personally feel like each one of our teams have represented THP in their own way. But our goal is not to go and defend. Our goal is to get retribution, redemption. We need to redefine this experience so that Callaway stops thinking it's in the bag every year, where they're gonna beat THP with a smile on their face while we're all googly eyed trying to figure out what's coming next from their awesome R&D department. So yeah,
I refuse to be googly eyed.
yeah, I've seen you in some of those meetings. It gets curious.
I can totally see Josh being all googly eyed.
So that's the one thing a lot of people don't get to see is when he sees stuff for the first time. Most situations, he's as geeked out as all of us would be. And that, I don't know how he does it after this long, sitting through that many presentations, but I've sat in those rooms with him, seeing things for the first time, and his reactions are no less sharply emotionally excited for product as mine were. So it's pretty cool to see.
Oh, I can agree with you, Dan, because I'll get a text. I got boxes, and that's all I get. I'm like, well, what's in the box? He's like, oh,
Nope.
nope. He goes, you'll see one day.
Yeah,
You will see one day.
But you could just hear the excitement when
Mhm.
it could be a box the size of a like this, no club, just some trinket that he gets in there, and he's excited about this stuff.
JB's like an onion, man. You just got to peel back the layers a little bit.
No, I don't do trinkets, but I do get excited for apparel. That's true.
Matt, like you said, you've been around since the very beginning of this event. You've seen every iteration of it. How have your thoughts changed from the first one to now? And what would you like the forum to know about our journey as a team this year?
Well, that's a tough one. I don't think it's going to sound cliche, but I don't think you can expect what's coming. I look back from going back from the first Grandaddy. The only thing that's no longer available are the pictures, but you still have the memories. But what happened in that first one is 10 times greater than what you saw in 2022 last year. It has the same mindset, but it evolves greatly because it has the same meaning behind it. So it's going to always have that same connotation of what we all know in our heart the Grandaddy is, but there's always Callaway is all there. It's just like their R&D, as Dan mentioned, it's never stagnant. So the Grandaddy from last year is going to be not the same meaning and connotation, but what happens there, it's going to be experienced. So I think it's not more how it changes. I think it's how you take it in from an experience perspective, if that kind of makes sense to anyone. And as far as our journey, I think it's been one of excitement. I think we've got a really good team. And, as you and I talked from day one, it was about legacy of the Granddaddy, hence our name, which no one, we've heard so many different renderings of that name, and you can see Josh smiling already. He's already thinking Subaru, but now he's on it, so he can't really bash the
I
name.
think coexist when I think of it.
Well, true, but it's more about, and it's not about a team being the legacy. It's more about the Granddaddy being the legacy and just adding to the legacy of it. So from a journey perspective, I think it's getting the guys to understand if they, we've got some new guys, we've got some old guys around. I can make this long. We could slow play this all day.
No, I'm just thinking back to the chat and when I first joined in, thinking which one of you guys wants to wear somebody's skin as a jacket, because there's always one. And
there might be a couple.
We got some crazies.
We've got a couple, and it's what I want to know. I'll just cut it short from our journey. I think it's about and I think we everyone says that we're going to bring the community along, and I think we've got the guys set up to do that. I think even though it goes in one out the other, Chris, I think they're ready to bring it. Because you get the same questions. Like today, we've got questions like, "Oh, what about this?" Well, I know we've talked about 15, 20 times.
Stuff we've answered like 100 times already.
Can I throw out a challenge to everyone listening in?
Yeah.
So I've only been in the discussion for the last few weeks, but it seems like the conversation's really heavily based around bringing this experience to the forum and making sure that all of our names are recognized before and as we're out there. I challenge anyone, press this team, connect with them, at them more aggressively than you'd even at M-Ward near Christmas time. Like, just really make it so that they know you're paying attention, and let's see how crazy we can make this. That'd be fun. Because we've got a goal, right? We have a goal for this thread, which has just blown up every year more and more and more. I want to see how insane this can be this year.
I'm right there with you. And I think that's something Matt and I have tried to stress on the team is be able to, like you said, just be able to bring everybody along and pay attention and not make it seem like we're there for ourselves, because it's not our event really, it's THP's event, and we're just the lucky ones that get to represent THP. So hopefully we can do that.
And I'll add one more thing: use forum names. Nobody knows who the hell these people are.
Yeah. Yes. I've tried to do that in all the videos too. I'm trying to call people by their forum name, not their name. No.
And we're not going gerbil wrangler. I'm telling you that, right? We can
win. First of all, it's hamster wrangler, and we are.
The last thing I want to do, because I'm trying to make these a little quicker, so people don't lose interest in them, is just a little small round of rapid fire questions for all three of you.
Oh, I saw this. We get 185 seconds to answer each rapid fire question, right?
No, that wasn't the point. They were supposed to be quick, but that was lost on a couple people. So hopefully it's not lost on you with all your talk about fast play. Let's make them go quick.
Okay.
Dan, we're going to start with you. You good?
Why always me first?
Well, we can go JB.
No, lay it on me, buddy.
All right. Name something better than poutine.
No. Oh, rum. Bourbon.
Teammate most likely to miss the bus.
Well, based on conversations, OU Magic early morning.
Now that you're going back, what are you most excited for?
Seeing all the change.
Is your hometown where you live or where you were born?
It's where you were born. There's no question about it. Ask anyone.
Who is the Nest going to get the best of on the team?
Come on, man. A Patty 100%.
I know.
That's PP 412.
PP numbers.
Yeah, PP numbers.
All right, just 5 quick ones. That was easy.
That was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Nothing about anime?
No.
Oh, God.
People interested, dude.
Nothing about Helena? No, like, fun facts about Helena?
Helena. JB,
That's
ready?
Weird. Sure.
Who's winning the singles match, Matt or Finley?
Finley.
Shit.
No, I listen, I'll explain. I know it's the rapid fire. I'll explain. I told Matt this tonight. I believe that this team can win. I also believe Finley's battle tested, and Matt should work on making sure the rest of the team is taken care of and not rely on that match. That's my thought process.
Teammate most likely to try to give you a hug.
Yoinzer, PP4, whatever.
Part of the bag you're most excited about since you've learned about all of it.
Driver, not even close. My God, driver.
Awesome. One word to describe our captain.
Intellectual.
You said meta earlier, for the record.
And then your favorite Canadian on the team.
You.
Me?
Yeah.
That's a cop out, but we'll take it.
Well, I mean, Montana is Canada, so.
I mean, it's close. That's why I'm giving it to you.
Yeah.
I was hoping to hear something.
That hurts me.
Matt, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Part of the fitting you're most excited for.
Putter.
Which teammate is going to score the most points?
Don't get this one wrong.
What is that? Sorry.
Oh,
Broke up.
thought you did.
Broke-
Which
broke up
Oh my
for a
teammate?
God.
sec. Like you
Sorry, he
froze.
took a
I
trip
don't
to
know. Maybe it
Virginia
was
real
me.
fast.
You
Which
froze.
which teammate is going to score the most points?
Oh, I said this earlier. Dan.
Damn.
Teammate most likely to miss the bus.
PP4.
Are you most likely to leave the nest first or leave the nest last?
You know me. I burn the candle to the end, buddy. I'll be last.
And then, do you believe in yourself? You against Finley? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Not a kid. Not a kid. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. As I've told the rest of the team, there's a good chance Finley and possibly the rest of the Callaway team, because it sounds like they're pretty much formed. We'll watch these if they have time in their busy season. Is there anything you guys want to say to them, Matt? I want to start with you. JB,
Yeah,
you're
I'm gonna
last.
go first, but I'm going first. First and foremost, a thank you to the whole Callaway group there. Jason, he does a lot around, keeping this event going. So full gratitude and appreciation to what they provided the TH community. Looking forward to meeting all those guys because I followed along for 10 years, 9 years. So I feel like I know most of them, but I've never have ever been to a Callaway event. So I'm pretty pumped about it.
Dan, what about you?
Can I rapid fire question you?
No, that's what I'm doing.
Damn it. Can we both?
Yeah, I think
No.
we should all.
Dan, is there anything you want to say to Callaway or Finley?
I said a lot of things like a week or two ago to them, but I mean, listen, it's not going to be like every year. We're going to show up. So go to the driving range, pretend like you guys play a lot, use some of those fancy new clubs. You're going to need them.
And then JB, it sounds like you have something you want to say, but I'm sure you
Yeah,
talked about that.
I would like to say, because I know Jason loves these warm, heartfelt messages to him. Just thank you. I just want to say to Jason Finley, thank you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. But I have rapid fire for you.
Okay.
Most likely to miss the bus.
PP4.
Matt versus Jason.
Math.
Did you say Matt or math?
Math.
Yeah, I think
I
Said
think you did too.
it's a payback
And-
for day one.
How many points will Team THP have on day one?
We had 6 and 21 and we lost, so let's go 7.5.
And how many points will Dan and I win on day one?
Day one, there's only 2, so 2.
Okay. And the final question, if you could do it all over again with this same team, this is less rapid fire and more real. You have all 14 people in front of you. Would you do any single thing different?
I don't think so. I think we've done it the way we wanted to from the very beginning. And I'm pretty damn excited to see how they handle this year.
Awesome.
Well, thank you three for joining me tonight. The last thing I want to say is, me personally, I want to take a chance to say thank you to Callaway on behalf of the team. We're forever grateful for the opportunity. Always have been, always will be. This will be my second time going. I won't be playing, but it'll probably be more special to me being able to take it on from this side. So thank you to every Callaway member that's taken the time to help put this together in the background, and those who will be making this the best golf event in the world for us in just 2 weeks, or just over 2 weeks. So yeah, thank you to you three for joining me tonight. It's been an honor to bring my teammates and these videos to THP. It's essentially go time. So until then, thank you guys, and we will see you on THP.
Thanks, everyone.